The tribal chief has spoken, and those 4 words have now shattered the illusion of control that Paul Heyman thought he had. Roman Reigns, the once dethroned ruler of WWE, just roared back into Raw with a fury that shook the entire landscape to its core, and he didn't need a monologue, a brawl, or a title shot to do it. Just a simple, searing declaration into the camera: "Paul, I'm coming for you." That moment didn't just break the silence, it rewrote the rules of engagement across every WWE faction. The arena went silent as if the very air was sucked out, the fans frozen in collective disbelief, watching as Reigns stood in the spotlight, his presence alone eclipsing everything that had come before. For months, the WWE Universe has been watching tension simmer beneath the surface as Paul Heyman made a stunning betrayal, aligning himself with Seth Rollins, the newly anointed Mr. Money in the Bank, and his monstrous allies Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker. Together, they carved a new faction from the ashes of the old order, backed by arrogance, cunning, and brute strength. But that alliance was forged without understanding one truth: Roman Reigns doesn't forget. And Roman Reigns doesn't forgive. The very foundation of WWE trembled the second the arena lights blacked out mid-promo, plunging Heyman into darkness, and when they returned, Reigns was already standing at the top of the ramp, staring daggers into the soul of his former wise man. No one expected that thunderous return. No one could prepare for what came next. As the crowd erupted into a frenzy, Reigns didn't waste words. He didn't play mind games. He didn't need a catchphrase. He walked to the ring, stood center stage under the spotlight, raised the mic, and let the world know that vengeance was now his only pursuit. "Paul, I'm coming for you," he growled, and with those 4 words, history shifted. Paul Heyman's face drained of all color as realization hit. His sins had finally caught up with him. The betrayal of the man he helped build into a tribal chief was no longer a chapter in the past. It was the prelude to war. Chaos erupted immediately. Bron Breakker, trying to protect the faction's honor, charged Roman with blind fury, only to be impaled by a spear so powerful it left him twitching on the mat. Seconds later, Bronson Reed thundered into the ring, and he too was flattened by another devastating spear. Seth Rollins, holding that precious briefcase, looked ready to act, until he locked eyes with Reigns. There was no bravado, no posturing. Seth backed off slowly, calculating, knowing this wasn't the night to test fate. Reigns pointed to him with ice-cold precision, then turned his focus back to Heyman, his stare cutting deeper than any promo could. Meanwhile, backstage, the camera panned to Solo Sikoa watching the mayhem unfold with his rebuilt version of the Bloodline. Flanked by Tomatano, Tanga Loa, and Jeff Cobb, Solo didn't flinch, didn't blink. He remained still, silent, unreadable. His expression gave away nothing, and yet it screamed volumes. The war that had been brewing wasn't coming. It had arrived. And now every layer of WWE's balance of power is under siege. First, Roman Reigns' mission is no longer about gold. It's not about championships, legacy stats, or main events. This time, the tribal chief wants retribution. This is deeply personal. The betrayal by Heyman, the manipulation, the shifting allegiances, it all built up into one volcanic moment of resolve. Reigns didn't return for the crowd. He didn't return for titles. He returned to make one man pay for betraying his bloodline and breaking the bond that once made them invincible. Second, Paul Heyman is now standing at the center of an emotional firestorm. The question becomes, will he double down and command his new faction to strike harder and faster, urging Rollins to cash in before Reigns can burn it all down? Or will Heyman realize too late that the war he started cannot be controlled? Because Roman Reigns is not like the other challengers Heyman has outmaneuvered before. He's not a rising star trying to break through. He's the storm they never saw coming. Third, Seth Rollins now holds the most volatile weapon in WWE, the Money in the Bank briefcase. He can strike at any moment, cashing in to try to end Reigns' momentum before it consumes everything in its path. But Seth knows Roman too well. He knows the tribal chief is at his most dangerous when he has nothing to lose. Fourth, the Bloodline Civil War has just reached an explosive turning point. With Solo Sikoa standing at the helm of his own faction, there's no telling whether he will see Roman's return as a threat to be neutralized or a salvation to be welcomed. Solo has been building his own identity, commanding warriors like Tomatano and Jeff Cobb to reshape the family legacy. But with Roman reclaiming his throne by force, a clash between cousins feels inevitable. Will it be respect or rebellion that determines Solo's next move? Fifth, faction warfare is now at its peak. Heyman's faction is wounded but not broken. Solo's bloodline is watching, waiting. And Roman may be preparing his own army. Rumors are swirling, Could Roman be forging new alliances in the shadows? Could he call on former allies, former enemies, or even outsiders to help him dismantle the empire Heyman built on treachery? The hunt is on, and every second is now part of WWE's most gripping storyline in years. This isn't just another angle. This is a reckoning. And if you're not tuned in, you're missing the most compelling war WWE has waged in a generation. The tribal chief has spoken, the game has changed, and Paul Heyman is now running out of time. Will he try to plead, manipulate, or destroy before Roman delivers his final blow? And where does Seth Rollins truly stand, loyal to Heyman or playing his own endgame? As for Solo Sikoa, the silence must break soon. Because with every second Roman Reigns remains standing, another fuse is lit. So hit that subscribe button, turn on every notification, and strap in, because when Roman Reigns finally catches Paul Heyman, it won't be a promo. It won't be a match. It'll be an execution. And the WWE will never be the same again. Drop your predictions below, because this isn't a story. It's a war. And it's only just begun. Let's rewind to the moment that changed it all. Paul Heyman, now aligned with Mr. Money in the Bank Seth Rollins, Bron Breakker, and Bronson Reed, stood in the ring, radiating smug satisfaction. His betrayal of Reigns had elevated his new faction to dominance, giving them power, momentum, and the briefcase that could rewrite championship history. As Heyman began to gloat, preaching about evolution, about power shifting into the future, the lights dropped. The entire arena was cloaked in darkness, a silence so thick it felt suffocating. Then the lights came back up, and standing at the top of the ramp was Roman Reigns. No music. No fanfare. Just presence. The crowd erupted in disbelief, chants bouncing from the ceiling to the floor. Reigns walked slowly, every step weighted with purpose, his eyes never leaving Heyman. And when he finally raised the mic to his lips, he didn't waste time. "Paul, I'm coming for you." No one moved. Heyman's smile vanished. For the first time in years, Paul Heyman was completely powerless. Then chaos erupted. Bron Breakker charged Roman, hoping to end the threat before it fully formed. But he was crushed by a devastating spear that folded him in half and silenced the commentary table. Bronson Reed tried to use his mass to overwhelm Reigns, but he met the same fate.